I spent the better part of last year defending my love for the ROG Ally, totally ignoring red flags about a certain micro SD card slot. But my frenemy John from Lawyat.net keep mocking its battery life. He said it's not about power, but how long it can last. Guess what? ROG just doubled the battery life of the new ROG Ally X. So suck it, John! Aduh, can't suck it. Now the ROG Ally X is priced at 4,299 ringgit, which is 1,000 ringgit more than the OG Ally when it first launched. So it's definitely not as competitively priced. To give you the TLDR, I'm gonna break it down for you what, in my opinion, are the improvements, the not improvements, and the mess, which are things that annoyed me slightly but aren't deal breakers. And by the end of it, I'm gonna give you my thoughts on whether or not you should go out and buy one of these. So let's just get started. I'm gonna start by addressing the elephant in the room. ROG said that they didn't move the micro SD card slot. They had to make changes to the internal layout because of the new battery and stuff like that. The micro SD card slot is just now coincidentally away from any of the heat vents. Oh yeah, they've also replaced the expensive and not used by 90% of the users XG mobile expansion slots for, another USB 4 port, which is more universal. As mentioned, ROG has doubled the battery life on the Ally X to a whopping 80 watt-hours, which not only blows the competition out of the water, but is actually beefier than a gaming laptop like the Zephyrus G14. What's even more impressive is that they managed to do that while keeping the Ally X in the same weight class. Boy, I just got thick, not obese. ROG increased the TDP to their silent and performance power profiles to benefit from this new battery, but you should still be able to take longer sits on your throne. If you know, you know. In terms of specs, they're still using the same AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme processor that is based on the now slightly older but still super capable Ryzen 7 7840U, but gone is the lower-end Z1 Vanilla model. They have upgraded the RAM from 16GB to 24GB that also still runs in dual channel at a higher speed of 7500 MHz per second from 64 MHz per second. As shown in 3D Mark test, this increase in RAM speed and capacity will give you a 7 to 15% improvement depending on if you're running older DirectX 11 games or newer DirectX 12 titles. We tested 5 games of various genres to give you a clearer picture in terms of what to expect from the Ally X compared to the OG Ally. As you can see, it's a mixed bag, but some games do benefit greatly from this RAM upgrade. It is even more obvious when you're running newer or more graphically demanding titles like Black Myth Wukong in 1080p. The slightly boosted performance mode gave us a decent bump in frame rates across all titles, but where it gets really interesting is in silent or quiet mode, where the 3W increase in TDP basically helped some games like Diablo or Cyberpunk cross from less than cinematic frame rates to, okay, that's playable frame rates. Wanna see something cool? We have more heat vents at the back. Another huge improvement that ROG has made to the Ally X is that they have doubled the storage to 1TB so that you guys would stop complaining so much about the micro SD card slot. Not. Game hoarders like you would still fill it up pretty quickly, but it's a welcome change for sure. Now let's talk about something that you might not notice at first, but will definitely appreciate after a while. I'm talking about ergonomics. With the Ally X, the joysticks have a little more resistance and feel more molded to your thumbs. ABXY buttons sit a little taller too. We also get reshaped grips with fatter triggers that are less fatiguing to hold over time despite the added weight. They even swapped out the rear buttons for smaller ones that can be actuated from multiple angles so that you will actually use them more. Some of you might have noticed the slightly smaller fans in the Ally X compared to the OG. I fully expected to criticize the Ally X for increased fan noise, but you know what? They are actually a few decibels quieter. Practically not noticeable when you turn up the speakers, okay, except maybe a little bit in turbo mode. What is more impressive is how much cooler the device actually got. Not only in terms of APU temps, but also the screen, D-pad and buttons. So you noobs can stop complaining that the device hot make your hands sweat and you lose the game. Just admit lah, you noob. Now let us talk about the not improvements. Honestly, looks-wise, I prefer the Stormtrooper vibes on that OG Ally. It was confident, full of Sigma energy, but due to the barrage of complaints, it kena emotional damage, and now it reinvents itself as a basic all-black handheld PC that conforms better to societal norms. The only color left now is the rings of RGB around the joysticks. Don't you guys agree? Now this thing is a fingerprint magnet. See for yourself. At least on white, we can ignore it, and ignorance is bliss. Finally, let's talk about the mess. Not a complaint, but for 1,000 ringgit more, OLED would be nice. This lame sticker with the specs looked so reflective that I thought it was a protective film and almost ripped the whole thing off. Leave a comment if that happened to you too. Okay, this is something that applies to all new Windows devices, but if you are coming from a PS5 or Switch, right, the setup time is so potong steam. It's like buying a new toy but having to go through 10 layers of wrapping paper. Like, god damn it, just let a man game! Here are the pros, mess, and cons of the new ROG Ally X. In my honest opinion, if you're not already a fan of the original ROG Ally, or at least are a little bit intrigued by it, then you are probably not going to be interested in this one. It's pretty much the same device with slightly better hardware and a lot more battery life. If you're in the team that cannot forgive ROG for how they handled the whole micro SD card slot with the original ROG Ally though, then maybe you just want to skip this as well. Because no matter how good this thing actually is, it will probably still not convince you. I personally am gonna sell my OG Ally because this is just a superior version of that in almost every way. As wise old Chinese uncles say, old one no go, new one no come. And frankly speaking, I'm tired of convincing people that buying a power bank is gonna solve the battery life issue with the ROG Ally. I mean, it does, but as I get older, my bag gets smaller. And I don't really want to carry a power bank, seeing that flagship phones these days can last throughout the day and even more sometimes. When I get home, sometimes my phone's on like 30%. So my power banks are all just sitting in a drawer somewhere that I call the graveyard of power. And that is everything I have to say about the ROG Ally X. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and share, and potentially use the links in our description, as it will support us to make more videos like this. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell to see more content like this. And follow us on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram to see more shenanigans from the Mob House crew. Again, my name is Bangsawan Shane, and I will see you in the next one. Hey, don't hit my teleprompter. Pain. Suck it.